You're still watching the City of Lagos TV show. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a very strategic sector. Adequate power generation and supply is fundamental for the city's growth and progress. But there is a strategic agency that is saddled with the responsibility to make significant impact in this area. And that agency is the Lagos State Electricity Board. We're speaking with the General Manager, Mr. Mukhtar Tijani. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
What is the Lagos State Electricity Master Plan, and to what extent has it been implemented to actualize the board's mandate, vision, and mission statement?
The Lagos State Electricity Board is saddled with the responsibility to provide power for Lagosians. Directly, we deal with all public spaces, public institutions, public facilities. In addition, we also provide power for off-grid spaces as enshrined in the law that establishes the agency. There's a lot of work going on in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources and the two distribution companies operating in Lagos State to even improve power to residential and commercial customers in Lagos State. The Lagos State Electricity Board works very closely with making Lagos a 21st century economy, which is the M under the themes, and also of particular importance, S, which is security and governance. As for the security and governance, we are responsible for all street lighting in Lagos State, improvement of the nighttime economy, and giving residents and even visitors of Lagos State a more conducive environment to carry out their activities later into the day.
What are the strategies adopted to synergize with the Lagos State discourse to boost power supply and to equally establish a viable electricity market that is separate from or off the electricity grid but also connects to the latter?
The Lagos State government, through the Lagos State Electricity Board, is working very closely with the distribution companies under the supervision of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. We all have the same mutually beneficial interest of improving power to Lagosians. We have infrastructure running parallel to each other all over the state in electricity lines, poles, transformers, and RMUs. And so it's of mutual interest for us to maximize and optimize this infrastructure so as to improve power to Lagosians. There's some areas of public lighting that we lean on the distribution companies to provide power to those infrastructure while there is power, and then we take that up through either our independent power plants or backup diesel generators to provide power later at night when the disco may not be available. In addition, we also work with the distribution companies. We take off some load from them, particularly state-owned facilities. That gives them the availability to provide more power to Lagosians, both residential and commercial consumers. The Lagos State government has invested heavily in ensuring there's an improvement in the availability and even the numbers of kilometers of streetlights currently in the state. As we speak, we have over 1,300 kilometers of streetlights spanning across all local governments in the state that we currently build and we also maintain. There's a broader policy that is currently to be launched next month by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources to give more detail into how the private sector and the existing players, the distribution companies, and even the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and other existing players in the space, some other independent power providers, as to how we can all harmonize and work together to ensure we all deliver the mandate of the Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration to Lagosians of improvement of electricity supply to both your homes, your businesses, and public spaces.
There is currently a strategy to manage streetlight networks, commencement of retrofitting of existing high-pressure sodium fittings to light-emitting diode fittings, and own the Streetlight campaign initiative. What are their set objectives and impact on the city and Lagosians?
Retrofit project you talk about is a quite big one, laudable one, and it entails, like you mentioned, transition from old existing high pressure sodium streetlights to more efficient, smarter LED streetlights. It's important to emphasize the smartness in it because it's not just transition from HPS to LED, which in its own vein is part of the mandate of making Lagos a smart city, a 21st century economy, because the LED streetlights are more robust, they're more rugged, they last longer, and they conserve much more energy. In addition to that, they have smart systems in them They are fitted with hubs, remote monitoring devices that allow us to communicate with them remotely, do some minor servicing also remotely, and quickly respond to any faults remotely. So it's a big project of this administration. The Own the Streetlight initiative was decided upon after robust interactions and engagement with various stakeholders, particularly the host communities where these streetlights reside. We've worked closely with the members of the House of Assembly, CDA chairmen, and other stakeholders to ensure we have sustainability around the streetlight installations. Now, how we arrived at Own the Streetlights is we looked at it and we received a lot of feedback from the communities, and we realized that the best way to ensure these installations are managed, taken care of, and particularly prevented from vandalism, which is a big problem that we've had ongoing and in the past. How to reduce vandalism is to ensure the communities themselves understand how we power them, where the power generators are or where the substations that power them are, and how to ensure these things are there to serve them longer. So we've given them the mandate and given them whatever tools they require, giving them phone numbers they can contact in the event of any thefts or accidents that can interrupt the supply of power to the streetlights. And a lot of engagement has been done for the Own the Streetlights. I think the most recent one we did was in Mushi, and we're going to continue doing from different local government to other different local governments. And it's been hugely successful. The feedback has been very encouraging.
Let's share your achievements, challenges, and of course the human capacity development thrust of the agency.
I'll start with the retrofitting of streetlights. This has led to major cost cutting while even achieving much better results and illumination around the state. This is a project that will lead to a drop in CO2 emissions, as you know from all the multinational, the COP21 and various other initiatives that we've been participating in with the Ministry of Environment. So that's a huge project that we're embarking upon. We have renewable solar systems installed in 175 public secondary schools and 11 primary healthcare centers. We're looking to expand them. We're at various stages of discussions with these DFIs, the DFID, the European Union, on how we can expand these solutions. We're also improving the length of streetlights around the state. We're installing new streetlights in some areas. And in addition to that, we're also working very closely with the existing policy of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources to see how we can improve power to both residential and commercial consumers. As an agency run by the state government, we're working across all 57 local governments in the state. The spread is huge, so we've had to employ technology in a lot of places to ensure we are able to detect and respond to issues in areas where personnel cannot be 24/7. We also have had a lot of issues with vandalism of our infrastructure. That's why we picked up the initiatives such as Own the Streetlights, which is yielding some success. The Lagos Electricity Board is equipped with very, very well-skilled engineers, particularly electrical engineers. And we also have a lot of other support staff because the engineers can't do all themselves. We also run trainings for the engineers, both physical and virtual, if required, sometimes out of state. The quality control unit also just recently received the OSHA certification from the United Kingdom for the quality control unit here. We have current certified engineers, NSC certified engineers, executing these jobs, so we have to get the appropriate sign-offs to make sure everything is done to spec and to standard. But in addition to the training, I would also wish to mention the Lagos Energy Academy. This is a facility in the Lagos Electricity Board that carries out various trainings from streetlight maintenance to energy audits to renewable systems installation, even sometimes teaching you how to run a renewable business, the financing back end of it, meter installation. We've done a few for the distribution companies. We have relationships with RENAC, with GIZ, and various other multinational DFIs.
On the final note, Jim, what are the future projections, strategies, and direction of the board to provide the much desired steady power supply and distribution to increase its revenue base and, of course, provide quality service to Lagosians?
As for last year's calendar year, we exceeded targets for our revenue generation. We also support a lot of other agencies of the state in reaching their revenue generation targets. For example, the advertising agency, they use our polls to advertise, and they also generate a lot of revenue for the state. A lot of other unmentionable agencies execute their mandates late into the hours of the night, and they use our power supply even for their offices and some of the locations that require revenue generation for the state. So we're working a lot in the mandate of the board is delivering power to public spaces, public institutions, and public facilities. To do so for private and residential and commercial consumers, the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act of 2004 gives that power to the distribution companies. So we are working very closely with them to see how we can help them to ensure there's more power delivered to Lagosians.
Any final word to Lagosians, word of assurance, encouragement to stakeholders and to the citizenry?
I will appeal to everyone to work closely with the Lagos State government's officials and the current administration. And we have really good intentions to improve power supply to all Lagosians, both, like I said, public places and even residential and commercial locations. And report any acts of vandalism or theft of infrastructure, because this is quite widespread. Discourage it, report it, and also we'll be reaching out with much more information as to how, probably through the distribution companies, about how we can improve power supply to your homes and businesses.
We've been speaking with the General Manager, Lagos State Electricity Board, Engineer Mukhtar Tijani. The City of Lagos TV show will continue in a moment.